All right, what's up, guys? Welcome to. I guess this can be considered a story time video, but it's more so just talking on my first year dealing with this pandemic. I don't think I've ever really sat down and talked about my own personal experience with the pandemic. Hold on, I'm checking my channel real quick. I'm just about to just pandemic. Yeah, nothing. All right. So I think I talked on it on my podcast. So if you guys, if you haven't already, go follow my podcast, the TMossBoss show. I talk about a bunch of different things on here. A lot of stuff I haven't even really talked on this channel. So yeah, definitely check out my podcast. It's a lot of episodes on there talking about a bunch of different things, advice, funny other like funny story times, serious story times, like anything possible that you can think of. So but anyways, no, I wanted to sit down and talk on my first year with the pandemic because man, was it a hectic first year. The many emotions I went through, the amount of time I've spent indoors, like it was, bruh. I'll tell you this much. Like, first half of the pandemic, straight torture. Straight up torture. I had to say it didn't really start getting good. And then it's crazy because, like, it started getting, like, somewhat better. But it was when I started getting these strikes on YouTube. So when all of that started, that's when the pandemic had kind of, was like cooling its course and things and wasn't, I mean, it was still serious, but it wasn't like as bad as it was. Like, places was open and all of that. So, yeah, pretty much like this whole video is just me talking about like, overall, I think what everybody had to experience. I feel like I just will be adding in my own twist to it. And I guess like also throughout this video giving out advice on how I dealt with it and stuff. So but anyways, so prior before the pandemic, I was working at this cafe job in Seattle, and we wasn't really taking it serious at first. Like beginning of the year, like we wasn't like, oh, okay, let's be careful, cautious, and all of that. I know we were washing our hands a lot in February. I remember they was like, okay, keep your hands washed and all that stuff. Don't yeah, just pretty much like, just keep clean while you're here and things. So we were doing that. What other things? Or yeah, wiping down like the counters and everything possible. Like we were, keeping it, but we were already clean. So it was like we were just pretty much just doing our regular job when we sit down and think about it and stuff. But we were just being extra clean, I guess. So, but anyways, then that was like in February. And then I remember when March had started, February, it was like towards the end of February, that's when it kind of, was getting hectic. Then I remember it was in the beginning of March, then that's when like, floors, because I worked in a building, so floors were closing down. They wwere telling people to like stay home or go home. And so work got like dramatically slow. Like one week we went from like ringing up like hundreds of people to like probably I think the last day I worked there it was definitely like probably less than 10 people, less than 10. If not, it had to been like what, 11, like that was it. But it definitely wasn't more than how much we would usually ring up. So that was the last day. But anyways, no, I remember we were overall like talking on like, okay, so this is what we're gonna do these days, because they hadn't really talked about like our cafe closing down and stuff, because we didn't know what was really going on. It wasn't like a whole lot that was being told to us. But I know cases were starting in Washington State, which I live at and stuff. But anyways, but yeah, it was like they wasn't really, we didn't really know. So yeah, we were giving like me, my friend Jack, and my friend Megan, which we were like the cashiers there, but we were overall like saying like, okay, Jack was like, all right, Tyler, you're gonna work like one day, me and Megan's gonna work the two. I'm like, hey, say less. Like, I get to go home, record YouTube videos, so I am good. Do what y'all want to do. But my thing was, like, I had worked at this job for so long, like, I worked there for like 4 years, but it was like I never took any days off, so it felt like it was a long time. But anyways, but it's like now it's just thinking about it, it's like dang, that time did fly by and stuff. But anyways, moving on. So that was like the original plan. So I remember that first week where we kind of was dealing with the like pandemic, I think I remember working that Wednesday. It was either that Tuesday or Wednesday. I just remember there was a day where I worked, and then there was like Thursday, some stuff had went down. I'll get to that. But anyways, yeah. So it was all right. So let me, because I'm trying to like, I'm not trying to like get the days confused. So that first week, I remember I worked like, all right. So no, all right. Now I remember. So me and Megan had cleaned up the place. And then after that, then that's when I was like, I was gone up until like that next Monday and stuff. And then that was like the official last day, because originally they were just like, we've been furloughed. And then later on, then the head manager, because I was cool with pretty much all the managers there. But the head manager, like I think he was considered the district manager, contacted me and was just like, "Yeah, bro, like it's over, like it's done. You ain't coming back here." But it's like nobody ain't coming back here. So, anyways, but yeah, that was the last day. But going back on, so that first week where it was like, I had like some days off and stuff, I really was gonna like take advantage of it, because I'm like, bruh, I never have free time with YouTube. I'm always busy, after work, where I'm just sitting there and legit resting, because it's just nonstop running around. I really wish like I could have showed you guys, like just did like a day like where I just recorded and stuff and showed y'all, but I didn't really know how they treated the YouTube stuff, so I was like, I didn't really want to like bring that to them and stuff. And yeah, but I was like, man, I'm telling you, it's like that for like a week. That's why it was like most of the time I would try to record videos on the weekend and then get that out of the way, but then I might be hanging out with family or friends, so I didn't have a whole lot of time. So I figured, okay, I'm about to that same energy that I got at work, about to use that same energy from when I'm at home. So I remember it being like, it was, I think I did, all right, so actually I think that was in the beginning of the week, and then I was like, as the week was progressing on, I was like recording videos and stuff, but excuse me, but anyways, then it got to that Thursday. That Thursday, that's when everything had just went downhill at that point. So I think I usually don't talk about my personal life too much. I mean, I have talked on some personal matters before, but stuff like this, I really don't talk on it that much, because this is the internet, so I already know for a fact it's like people are going to, of course, turn whatever I say into memes, make fun of it, laugh about it, all that stuff. Then there's going to be some out there where they're like, oh, okay, like, hey, I'm not the only one that deals with this. Cool. So, but anyways, so there was a girl that I was interested in, and have been for some time. Like she, we were cool. Like, we overall, like, we talked all the time. It was a situation where I was like, man, like I really do see myself like spending the rest of my life with her. I don't see really, like, I never really like paid attention to anybody else. There'd be times like at that job, freaking old and young, like women flirting with me and stuff, and I'm like, I really just didn't, I didn't care. Especially if it was like some like, nah, you ain't gonna have me in some situation where I'm like you like the womanized version of Hugh Hefner and have me walking around showing off my body and my goods and stuff. No, that ain't happening. But jokes aside though, but no, I was, really interested in this girl. Like we, like I said, we talked all the time, but I remember that Thursday, she had contacted me and was talking about how she started seeing a guy, and then from there it just, I really had just lost myself. Like from that time frame all the way up until I think that summer of like last year and stuff, 2020, I really did lose myself. Like I didn't, I didn't really like, know with like who to go to, where to go to. Like there was a pandemic, so places was closed. I'm literally stuck indoors. The only thing that I can do is just like honestly go outside for some fresh air. So yeah, definitely was doing that a lot. But man, I'm telling you, that was I like that was a pretty like, tough situation. Like I'm chilled now. I'm not tripping about it anymore. But yeah, for a while though, I was like, I had to say it was going on for some time. But and I had to say, like, it was probably like that summer, then that, that summer was just all about like really building myself. And then after that, then it was just, moving, like, it was just, all right, to like get back to the, the bigger picture of like, doing videos and, entertaining you guys and stuff. So anyways, but no, so I remember like that Thursday I just, kind of like had shut down. And I remember I was like trying to process it because it was like I was trying to go after this girl for a long time and stuff. So it was just it was kind of like it hit me hard to know that okay, you've been chasing after her for this long, and then it's like whoever this other person is, it's like they pretty much just came up out of nowhere. And it honestly, it just straight like that was like a knockout punch right there. Like it legit was. But anyways, then I remember it got to at Monday, which was my last day at work, and I just remember it was like that night, like because I was thinking about it like from that Thursday, and then it was like pretty much like for the remainder, like up until like the summer had began. And I remember it got to like that Monday and that last day at work. I was so different. Like when I sit down and think back on how I was acting that day, I'm telling you, like it was scary on how I was acting, and I'm like, I hope and pray that I never, reach that point in my life again. And yeah, it was just me being quiet. Like usually I'm like, you can ask anybody that I've worked with, like I'm usually running around cracking jokes, scaring people, like cracking jokes with the customers, but there was no customers there. And so I just was kind of like on autopilot. Like I was like talking with my coworkers and stuff, but other than that, like I was just keeping to myself and just kind of like standing at the register and things. Like I at times like I just kind of like space out, be zoned out and things, and just be looking, and I kind of like look up and see like like a coworker like staring at me or whatever. And then like they're initiating conversation, but I was just like I couldn't even talk. I couldn't, there was a lot of things I really couldn't do and stuff. So then it got to that Monday night. I remember I cried for like the first time in freaking years, bruh. Like I don't think it was like I think last time I had like a crying moment, it was like probably back in like 2014, 2015. And it was because there were some family members I wanted to take care of, but I couldn't at the time because I didn't really have no money and stuff. And so I was crying, back then it was like I was crying because it was because I wanted to do something, but I couldn't. And so that was like the last time I cried. But I had like a bunch of other things like happen to me, from deaths to just feeling like you had like nobody in the world caring about you, nobody supporting you, all of that. And it's like, that stuff kind of lingers in your mind, but when you keep all of them like emotions like literally bottled up, it's one of the worst things that you can possibly do to yourself. So I kept all those emotions bottled up for like from 2014, 15 to all the way up to 2020. And that's not good. That's definitely not a good thing to do. It's like at times, yeah, don't force yourself to cry, but it's like, like talk to people, and overall like let your emotions out and stuff, because it was a lot. Like I know there was people that was reaching out to me because I had to talk to somebody. I was like I posted on social media, I'm like, hey, if I can talk to somebody real quick, and I usually don't make posts like that. So I think people knew that it was serious, and I had like quite a few friends reaching out to me and stuff because they were they were worried. I was even worried. But it was, it was honestly like that wasn't even like the downhill factor. Like I had to say it got even like worse and stuff. Like I got to the point where I wasn't really caring about my well-beings and stuff. So that, and then also just really losing the motivation for a lot of stuff. Like I almost had took a break from YouTube. I did kind of in a way. I think I was like I took like a 2 day break, but I was still like doing like podcast episodes and stuff and was just working. But I was like, I remember that first day I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna work on all the videos that I got. After that, just probably disappear for a second. But I didn't. I ended up still continuing on. And overall, like, yeah, it was just, it was hard. It was definitely one of the hardest things that I did. But it was like, it helped me because, I started, like, that was at the time when I had to say, like, when I really started, like, focusing and posting a lot. It was around that time when I had started reacting to McNasty and the rest of the goons and everybody else. And so once I reacted to them, and then my channel kind of, like, skyrocketed. It was, it got, like, it made me feel better in a way. Like it did help in things. And so to see that, and then to just see like so many people, like I had like 4 souls reaching out to me, I had other friends reaching out to me and stuff. Like I had like a lot of people like congratulating me, because at that time I had just hit 15,000 subscribers. And so yeah, it was like life was getting like slightly better, but still it was overall like torture, just kind of being in your like feelings and your own thoughts and stuff. So summertime came around. Not really. Well, I mean, my birthday is in the summer and stuff, and so that was about it. And then after that, oh yeah, then it was the one video that Four Souls did where it was like it really made me happy to watch that. But it was a birthday video that they did for me, so I had to say that they contributed a lot to really me feeling better and stuff. That last year because I was like, I tried getting, well, at least I tried getting Priscilla from Four Souls into YouTube a lot. And, I was like, I don't know. It was just something where it's like, I think at the time being like, like camera shy, but I'm like, hey, I get it. I was camera shy like the first like year or two I was on YouTube. So it took me a moment to really, get into making videos. But yeah, this pandemic, man, it really like widened the variety of options that a person can do. Because I would have never thought like I had like 30 something channels and stuff. Like I think when before the pandemic had started, I might have had like a few channels, more than a few. And then it was like as the time was progressing on, like 30 channels. They like and then now it's like at 34, and I'm like, hey yo, like why? What happened? And so yeah, overall, like that was one of the things that really kept me going and stuff for during this pandemic was keeping my mind busy and just overall keeping busy. So that's when I went ahead, got me. I was like, haven't done a vlog in freaking months, but got a couple of vlog cameras. Then of course creating more channels. Picked up Twitch streaming. Well, I picked up Twitch streaming was because of the YouTube strikes, but yeah, and then talking on that, so I'm like starting to feel better. I'm starting to, really just, get up from this like freaking crazy explosion that just took me out and stuff. So now it's like the after effects of really, put myself together, making sure I'm good. Soon as I stand up, soon as I'm like, okay, I'm ready. One step, YouTube strike. And so I'm like, oh my God, it's just problem after problems. And so yeah, that wasn't really, doing so good for me. But then eventually, I think at that point, I just went ahead and just created a backup channel and stuff. And so I was losing my motivation when I was getting these strikes because I'm like, I can't upload, I can't entertain my fans. And so I'm like, I don't get it. Like, what's up with that? And so anyway, because I'm like, bro, it's like YouTube out here. I've talked on it. So I'm like, at the end of the day, we all know YouTube needs to fix their website and stuff. But so anyways, then I think it was at some point in time. I remember I did kind of like pick up Twitch streaming towards the end of 2020. But once when I started like being serious about it was in the beginning of this year. So yeah, beginning of this year, ended up getting another strike. I think that was my second strike. And so it was crazy because the first strike had not expired yet. So I think I had like maybe one more week before this strike had expired. And so right when that week had started, right when I was like, okay, next week, cool, like the strike ends, another YouTube strike, literally the second day of the year, all right, second day of the year. So at that point, I was just like, I didn't trust YouTube anymore because I'm like, hey, yo, you guys are giving me strikes on literally the dumbest videos possible, like videos I don't care for, videos that barely have gotten any views. So that's why I'm like, you guys are tripping for giving me strikes on some dumb stuff. But anyways, so I eventually had created. Well, I actually no, I didn't even create. I already had a Twitch channel, but I wasn't like as on it as much. But I started getting more involved in it. To, overall, like, cause that's one thing I like doing is finding like small Twitch streamers and just overall like motivating them, helping them out, shouting them out, all that stuff. So overall, we'll do stuff like that. And then I just decided, like, it was because of, like, people. It was, like, So Cozy. So Cozy was, like, one of the first streamers I started following this year and stuff. So, or maybe was it last year? I can't remember exactly when, but shout out to So Cozy. She was one of the, I think she was, like, I can't even say one. Like, she was probably the main reason why I picked up Twitch streaming. So, anyways, got motivated by her. Was kind of doing like some like not IRL but like streams where I'm just kind of like seeing kind of like Aiden Ross when he's in his room streaming and stuff. Is that considered IRL? I don't know. But anyways, so I started doing streams like that, then started doing gaming streams, and then yeah, here I am telling you guys about my adventurous pandemic first year and stuff. So yeah, I was like, dang, it was like wiping my eye. I was like, eyes got all big and stuff. But anyways, but yeah, it was a year where I'm like, dang, man, Like I'm, so I'm prepared now, like in case some stuff goes down. But I mean, it did get better like towards the end. Like there's friends I came back in contact with. What else? My birthday is coming up here in a few days. Where are some other things? Yeah, it was like it was cool. It was cool. I really did appreciate all the positives and even the negatives because it did make me a stronger person at the end of it and stuff. So yeah, that was my crazy wild year with this pandemic and stuff. I honestly feel like I talked on everything I needed to talk on. I can't really think of anything else. Yeah, like overall, like I cried, I got mad, I got happy, I got depressed, I had every emotion running through my body. And I have to say, like, now I'm not, I'm kind of like, I kind of don't trust the idea of it, but at the same time, that's what I'm looking forward to in life. But I'm like, I am feeling like slightly happier. So I have to say that's that's like the honestly the positive right now that's like going on is like I do feel like happier and stuff. So I think that's good. I think that deserve a little pat on the back for some stuff like that. But anyways, I hope your guys' first year of the pandemic was better than mine. I know there's people out there that's probably done dealt with far more worse, and I'm not trying to make it seem like that, mine's was like the worst ever. I know mine's was like probably the minimum. I think people would rather deal with what I'm going through than the stuff that they're going through. There's people out there like, losing their houses, going homeless, dealing with COVID, a lot and stuff. And I'm like, I'm out here complaining about a freaking love story and getting strikes on YouTube. That's nothing. But anyways, but just in case if if you're dealing with some stuff and then you see mine's as being the worst or whatever, it's like mine's isn't the worst, yours isn't the worst. And it's like the worst is it's like people that didn't survive the pandemic. I feel like if we're gonna truthfully be honest and stuff. So anyways, yeah, respects to all of those people that hung through with this pandemic and stuff. But anyways, yeah, but it was like still though, it was a crazy year and stuff. But anyways, I will talk to y'all later. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for hearing out my little pandemic story. And yeah, talk to you guys later. Like, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and peace.